Hi, welcome to a special Thanksgiving edition of Orangeline. I'm Alex Scove.
And I'm Justin Hauser. With finals just around the corner, we start this week's show off with a piece from Reina Murphy on coping strategies.
It's coming up to the end of the fall semester, which means finals time. Students have already begun preparing. FY teacher Lisa Johnston gives her class study tips as this time of the year is approaching.
I think the key thing that I always try to tell folks is to plan and prepare. One of the things that we spend quite a bit of time doing is mapping out a semester schedule, and then when it gets closer to finals, we take out the final exam schedule to make sure that everyone knows when they're going to have exams and big papers coming up so that they can start planning for that in advance. I think that that's probably one of the best things that students can do to help themselves, is to make sure that they're planning and to know when the tests are coming up, to know if they're going to have a couple of big things all together on one day, so that they can start early. Starting early is really the key.
Knowing what kind of learner you are can help when preparing for an exam. This is another topic Lisa focuses in on in her FY class.
Well, the three basic styles are visual learners who learn things by seeing, essentially, auditory or verbal learners who learn things by hearing, and kinesthetic learners who learn by doing or using the concepts in some way. And so those obviously are different in terms of what each student benefits from the most in terms of classroom activities and study time. I think that once students have an understanding of which one of those three styles they prefer, if they have a preference, some people are more balanced and they can operate equally in any of the three modalities, but once they have a sense of which style they prefer, I think sometimes it kind of turns the light bulb on for them and they're like, oh, okay, I need to be focusing on these kinds of things to really bring the information home.
There are many ways to approach studying for finals, regardless of your learning type. Lisa had other tips to offer Baker students.
I think regardless of someone's learning style, the one thing that folks need to try to do when they're studying is to make the information meaningful to them, to relate it to something they already know, something in their life, an example. That's really going to help people to learn the information that they're studying the best. So if you can think about the concepts and say, okay, yeah, I saw an example of that in this certain time in my life, then that will help you to learn it much more than just reading over and over a definition. And so making those linkages to either other courses you've taken or people you know in your lives or things you've seen in a work setting, those kinds of things will really help solidify the information and make it much more likely that you're going to be able to remember it and talk about it in a really thorough way on an exam. Another thing that I recommend when there are concepts or things that are more challenging to relate to your life is to consider using mnemonic devices. Of course, many of us used a mnemonic device in elementary school to remember the Great Lakes. Some folks will remember this Holmes, and in music we have FACE and Every Good Boy Does Fine for the spaces and lines on the treble clef staff and those kinds of things. And so you can make up your own devices like that to kind of give you some mental clues about, oh yeah, when I'm studying these things, there are these 5 letters, and kind of building a word or making a little saying to go along with it. So it serves as a cue when you're there during the exam and you're thinking, okay, now what was it? Immediately you can think of your mnemonic device, and that will help you to kind of remember what the concepts were that were associated with whatever it is that you need to talk about.
The SAS Tutoring Center, located in the basement of the library, is a popular resource during finals time. Tutor Will Duncan has study tips that he likes to use when preparing for finals.
For finals, if it's memorization, it's definitely note cards. If it's for math, then it's usually just working through problems, because that's the best way to learn how to process it, like to actually write it out. That's about the only finals I take is like memorizing. If it's for like, an essay final, say, then I think it's best if you just like write out your essay, like, or write an essay out beforehand, because that way at least you're just, you've already gone through kind of what you're gonna go through on a final or on your test, and you'll have a lot of it, will be like just memory now. You've written it out, so you can recall. It'll bring back. So I think it'll be easier to recall.
There are various areas that tutors are available in, and schedules can be picked up at the tutoring center.
I think that, I don't know how students outside feel, but I think that the tutors are pretty available. Sandy does a really nice job of scheduling where she tries to, put a variety of subjects so that we don't have like all math tutors on Monday. She spreads it out really nicely. So we're pretty available. And then you can always sign up with a tutor by appointment. So we try and make it as flexible as possible for the students who need the assistance.
Good luck preparing for finals, and remember to stop by the SAS Tutoring Center if you need any help preparing. I'm Reina Murphy reporting for KNBU TV.
Thanks for that, Reina. Are you stressed about finals?
Finals are not my favorite thing. How many do you have?
4 or 5. I'm stressed about all of them.
Oh, yeah, I would be. But next is our Question of the Week segment. Kelsey Epperson went out and asked Baker students if they had any non-traditional Thanksgiving foods that they generally eat with their meals.
It's called pretzel jello salad. It's pretzel like crust and then like cream cheese and whipped cream in the middle and then strawberry jello stuff on top. It is delicious. It's my favorite. Every Thanksgiving, every holiday get together is pretzel jello salad.
Well, I like jello, so my mom makes this like mandarin orange jello. It's really good, and we have it all the time for Thanksgiving.
Burger King, the number 12, the large number 12 from Burger King with a root beer and no ice. Because unfortunately I have nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, so I have to stay here on campus, and everything in Baldwin closes, so Burger King it is.
Well, we have green olives. They're kind of a side dish. They're not obviously the main dish, but I personally don't eat them. We also have black olives. I might eat a couple of those, but green olives aren't for me. My dad likes them a lot, so.
My grandma usually makes us lasagna to go with our turkey and mashed potatoes. And it's usually just Stouffer's, but it's really good.
I always have shrimp cocktail, and it's awesome.
Thanks for that, Kelsey. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.